back in 2017, I actually did that weekend course, how to become a cosmetic injector. And of course they tell you, here you go, off you go, you can open up your own clinic. I was like, this is bizarre, like absolutely bizarre. I can tell you I didn't do that. And I suppose having that clinical experience, I knew that I wasn't able to do that. Now I definitely know you can't do that. There's a lot of learning behind it. So when I did that course, I did nothing for about a year. I was still working as a nurse in the clinical setting, and a girl approached me who was working in a cosmetic practice. She's Irish, and she reached out to me and she's like, hey, I think are you in this way? Are you interested in skin? I thought I saw something on your personal Instagram or something. And I said, oh God, yeah, but sure, like I haven't a clue. And she said, come in, there's a doctor that would really like to have a chat with you. You know, I've spoken to him about you, and I think, you know, come in and have a chat. So I didn't know what to expect. So I went into this clinic, sat down with the doctor across the way, very casual interview, and he was asking me all about myself and, you know, and basically gave me a shot. He kind of said to me, he was like, I'd love to take you on. I was like, I'll tell you now, hands up, I have no knowledge, no experience. I'm as green as the grass in Ireland. So you got to show me the way here. And I suppose I was blessed and so invaluable, but I was mentored for 2 years by him and worked under him for 4 years to eventually in the same practice that I now own. Yeah. So it's incredible. And to have that opportunity looking back now was really invaluable, because a lot of people look for that, don't they? And people don't have the time to offer, to train, to mentor people. Like, what is your time? How much is your time worth, you know, to give someone that education and that support continuous. Yeah. So I was working in the hospital, finished at St. Finni's, run down the road to Paddington, sit in his consults, sit there, hoover up everything like a vacuum, and learn from the very best. That's who's been in the industry over 20 years.
I was going to ask, what did that 4 years look like? What were you doing? How did you pick up practical skills?
Yeah. Which is great. He always said to me, he was like, I love how you love the science. He gave me an anatomy book. He said, go home and study it. I'm going to come in, I'm going to ask you questions, I'm going to ask you where all the arteries are, I'm going to do all of that. Really honed in on the science of skincare as well. It was a heavily focused skin clinic with injectables as a side. And he was like, you need to understand the ingredients. So, you know, there's no point you doing all this if you don't know what you're talking about and what you're saying, because people will understand. They'll know straight away. If you haven't a clue what you're talking about, shut up, basically. So that was how we got in that. And then I think I started injecting tox first, really, and understand the muscle anatomy of the face. He was like, it's not that hard. Watch how the muscles move. Stop thinking of a book learning. Look at the muscles. Watch where they kick in. Watch where they relax. Use your common sense here. Inject where you need to be. All those little things that like people forget about, and they're just learning from the book and dot points and all that. It's like, look at a person's face. Yeah. I think that was really invaluable, again, I'll say, because sitting there with his consults, I watched how he assessed a face, which you need to know how to do that. If you can't do that, then you can't be in this space. So, and also listening to your patients. What do they want, while also not overdoing it and not overselling something just because you need to get rid of a product or you want to try this new treatment or whatever, and getting confident in knowing your anatomy. Yeah. So for those 2 years with him, I don't think I injected any filler. I was just tox, skincare, learning the device in the clinic. And then eventually he actually trained me in sculpture first, before any real fillers, I think. Thinking back maybe. And then I just gradually took one each time just to kind of get confident in it. And I'm the biggest critic of myself. So I'll always stop myself. If I don't know something, I'm not going to do it. If I think I'm unsafe or I think that's unsafe, I'm not going to do it. I know there's people who are experts in their own areas, so I'll refer to them if I'm not too sure. So, and I've always kept that at the forefront of my injecting and my ability. I do think now I'm a very confident injector, very safe. I know my anatomy. I've bettered myself over the years. I've done so much self-learning, my own courses. I've funded a lot of that myself and built a very steady clientele, a very loyal clientele, which I will say are about 80% Irish. And I pride myself on my work ethic, my determination, and what I want to be out of this, what I want to do and where I see myself going.